Hello everyone. Today I would like to share a new prioritization framework which I think will be very simple to use, simple to understand, and simple to communicate with all the internal and external stakeholders. Most of my past year has been spent in hospitals due to personal reasons, and one of the books that I read during that time was a book called Hooked: How to Build Habit Forming Products by Neer Eyal and Ryan Hoover. I came across this interesting concept from startup industry about evaluating ideas or product ideas, whether they are painkillers or they are vitamins. Now, I thought of extending the concept and created a PKVit framework, that is painkiller vitamin prioritization framework, and I wanted to test the framework with fellow product enthusiasts, hence creating this small video to explain it for everyone who wants to give it a try. In the part 1 of this video, I have talked about what is PKVIT framework, why to use it, and how to implement it using multiple steps. Please watch that video before getting into this video. In this part 2, I will talk about how can we make use of PKVIT framework to analyze backlog composition, and how can we make use of PKVIT to initiate conversation with stakeholders and eventually convince them to take right decisions. Now, I'll add few of the analytical landscapes which can be used for this prioritization framework. So you can make use of PKVT framework to evaluate backlog composition. So if you want to look at the whole backlog in one go and derive some insights about it, you can do that. Here is an example. You can simply check the composition based on the categories. So you can see if the backlog is comprised of only painkillers or only vitamins, or is it really a painkiller heavy backlog or something like that. Then based on your specific context, you can interpret the analysis. For example, if you're planning to introduce a product in market and the backlog is vitamin dominant, then you might relook at the backlog to see if you are focusing on solving any business problems or you're just adding enhancements. In this case, the backlog seems to be balanced between painkillers and vitamins. The another way of analyzing it is basically categories and subcategories. So here you can see subcategories distribution as well. You can see majority of the vitamins are multivitamin supplements. So if you are seeing majority of painkillers to be post-operative painkillers, then you can think of relooking at quality posture of the product and make sure that the features which are going live are not full of bugs, or they are being done just to meet timelines. Otherwise, you'll see trend of always seeing these post-operative painkillers in your backlog over a period of time. The another way of a simple way of analyzing the backlog health is you can check persona-wise painkillers or vitamin distribution. So you'll know which persona is being focused upon, and are we addressing pain areas or are we just enhancing existing features for that persona. So again, if you add trend in this particular landscape, you can see whether you are just servicing a certain persona or you are delivering a balanced product for all the personas. Finally, I would like to share some of the answers of commonly asked questions. So one must have heard these statements hundreds of times during their professional experience, and I think PKVIT lens gives a good basis to tackle those. And PKVIT will give you a starting point for discussion and then take appropriate decisions. Say, for example, if the stakeholders are saying everything is of high priority and of high stack ranking, then maybe you can question them asking how many painkillers are amongst them and how many are vitamins. If they say I want all these items to be done, you can ask, are these operating theater painkillers that you want to do it right now, or which is something which can wait for future treatment. Then stakeholders might say, we have launched a new feature now, let's start launching new features immediately. You can ask, after new feature launch, we should try to work on post-operative painkillers or vitamins instead of launching new painkillers. The stakeholders can say all these are legal requirements, so we must do them ASAP. Here you can confirm saying that yes, that makes sense because these are preventive painkillers and will definitely prevent our future pain. there can be statements like, we don't need to take this tech debt right now. Let's do that to the later stages. You can tell them that even if this is a tech debt, again, it's a painkiller, but it's a preventive painkiller. So basically, you are preventing again a future pain. If your product grows beyond expectations, then these tech debts can come and bite you. So basically, you can see these. If you look at the backlog through PKVIT lens, you get a good starting point to have these discussions and have healthy discussions. Let me end this video by sharing my vision about PKVIT. So I envision PKVIT to be used by product fraternity, and statement like these become common across multiple industries and products. So for example, something like, let's just focus on painkillers for our buyers, or this quarter we'll work on post-operative painkillers, or theme of the next quarter is post-operative vitamins for suppliers, or something like, this must be solved now. This is a operating theater painkiller. Mm, is it a vitamin for the product, or are we solving any real business pain? Or we must balance our painkillers and vitamins in the next financial year since we are mature product. So this is something I envision. By using PKVIT framework, you can basically use these statements, and it will make 100% sense to everyone who is listening to your statements. So I hope you will find this framework to be easy to use and easy to communicate with all the stakeholders. So my request to all the product enthusiasts watching this video is to give me a feedback about the framework. Use it and let me know if you face any challenges. Part of the framework that worked for you, parts which did not work for you, or if there are any additional inputs or improvements that you want to recommend. So thank you for being patient and listening to my monotonous voice. I hope you will find PKBIT interesting enough to give it a try on your existing product backlog. Any practical insights, any real life examples will definitely help me to understand if the framework is of any use or it's of no use at all. Looking forward to listen from you, and thank you again.